Sultan Azlan Shah Cup 2017, India's Australia woes continue. Azlan Shah 2017, India's Australia woes continue. It was a strange turn of events that pushed the Australian thorn further into Indian flesh on Tuesday. India took the lead in the 26th minute and had the momentum by their side, but that when the phenomenon of ebbs and flows struck, the wave of energy suddenly gave up on the Indians, withdrew and flowed towards the Aussies. Seconds before the halftime buzzer, the Aussies equalized and didn't look back from there on. Perhaps, the match was best summed up by India coach Roland Toltmans, who said, "You know that Australia is always smelling when they can turn the momentum around, and they did." Also read, India's squander lead to lose 1-3 to Australia. It ended 3-1, Australia's third win over India on the bounce in last two editions of Sultan Azlan Shah Cup. Toltmans may think India gave it away, but the result is nothing new as far as this tournament is concerned. It's about winning, not matching the opponent. Comparing this 1-3 defeat to last year in the tournament, India played much better. They took the lead and looked good, but only to wither away. In 2016 here, the results read 5-1 in the league stage and 4-0 in the final in favor of Australia. But getting overpowered and losing momentum has been a trend for India against their illustrious opponent. The straightforward Toltmans, in a way, admitted by saying that it's not about matching the opponent but winning against them. To lose against a very good team is part of the game. In quite a number of games, in the past, we did match Australia. But in the end it is not about matching, it is about winning. That is something we still have to learn. We are focused to do so, the Dutchman said. India's last victory against Australia came in the two-test bilateral series in November last year, but in multinational tournaments, they have beaten the Kookaburras only once since the start of 2014, which was a 4-2 win in a pool match of 2015 Sultan Azlan Shah Cup. The most painful of defeats came at the 2016 Champions Trophy, when India lost the final 3-1 in a penalty shootout against Australia and had to settle for a silver medal. Losing Srijesh a blow, but not a turning point. Srijesh limping off the field will worry any Indian fan of late, keeping in view India's fragile bench strength of the custodians. Akash Chikt stepped up and did reasonably well, but Srijesh's absence was always going to hurt India. The Indian star twisted his right knee while diving to make a save and hobbled off the field. The seriousness of his injury will only be known after he goes through an X-ray, but Toltmans refused to concede that Srijesh's injury is a turning point. That is too simple to say because Srijesh is not on the ground to stop the balls. That cannot be the reason why the match turned. It has to do more with execution of the game plan. After we were leading, we did not continue playing the way we were doing before. That is for me the reason or turning point in the game, not because Srijesh got injured, the coach explained. Australia sniffed change in momentum. Australia coach Colin Batch did second Toltmans' view on where the game changed hands. India strangely slowed down after taking the lead while Australia, in contrast, upped the ante. They looked hungry to go into halftime back on level terms, and a 30th minute strike by Eddie Akendon provided that. When you are on top, you got to take full value. Perhaps India could have scored more than one goal, when they had the momentum. They may look back and say we could have done better from goals scored point of view. You take your chances when you can, Batch said. India have 4 points from 3 matches now, with relatively easier games against Japan and Malaysia left to play, and Toltmans is looking at getting his processes right rather than watching other results. Can it be an India-Australia final for the second year running? Let's see, Toltmans said. Let's see when we meet them again. Other results are not in our hands. Let's not talk about that. We have 4 points, that's it. No more, no less. Very simple, he concluded.